I'm here with my boy Josh. This is another one, another episode, another epic episode coming to you straight from Syracuse all the way to
ATL, Shorty.
from my boy Josh, presented from you once again from Genius Talk. So he's going to actually break it down to us today on the fundamentals of a credit score and what that is and how you can obtain good credit scores to leverage in life. So Josh, on first before we get into our questions, go ahead and introduce yourself for the Genius Talk crowd.
All right, everybody. I'm Josh. Born and raised in Syracuse, New York, but as of right now, I reside in Atlanta, Georgia. Just wanted to migrate somewhere warm. I have like over 10 plus years working in finance, especially in the banking industry. So, throughout those 10 years, I have learned a lot about credit. I learned a lot about money, and I learned a lot about how, basically how finances work. And, I figured that it would be selfish of me to haul all that information and keep it to myself. I want to share with my people. So this is what I do. I like to call myself a financial strategist.
Wow. So you like to? That's why you're on Genius Talk because you called. He said he likes to call himself. Say that again for me.
Financial strategist.
Financial strategist. So that means he's a guy that can financially strategize numbers. That's what that sounds like to me. All right, let's get into our okay. All right, let's get into our questions here. So Josh, what is a credit score?
So credit score is basically what all the financial institutions, banks, um, you know, car dealerships, all that. They use your credit score to determine if you're credit worthy, if they want to lend to you. So, with that being said, it is very important. The same way that's very important for you to have a healthy body and a healthy mind is very important for you to have a healthy, you know, how can I say this? Basically, a healthy understanding of how money works and how it flows.
Gotcha. So so having a good score could potentially could it go both ways? Could it go negative or positive? What do
Oh
you
yeah,
think? What
absolutely.
is your intake on that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like I said, credit is something that can open up a lot of pathways for you. It can open up pathways to, financial freedom. But at the same time, if misused, if you use credit the wrong way, it can send you to the poorhouse. It can have you out on the street. So, this is the world that we live in. It revolves around credit. So, in order for you to basically be a top player in this game, you need to understand the rules. And that's what I'm
Right.
here for.
Right. Wow. That was I think that message was very, very like strong. Wow. Okay, to my next question. What what makes up a typical credit score?
So
And
basically, a typical. Oh,
I,
go ahead. My bad.
you can go ahead. I'm talking about I'm talking about we can get into the fundamentals of the percentages as to, what makes up the credit score. What factors make up the overall score basically?
So the factors that make up an overall credit score are like basically on-time payments, credit utilization, credit mix, meaning like, do you have credit cards? Do you have mortgages? Do you have car loans? So those are the type of things that go into and also affect if your credit score goes up or goes down.
Okay. And so overall, why would you say it's very essential to understand credit as an individual, how it could impact. So you've actually covered that in the last question. Um, so what would you recommend for a person actually really wanting to like where do you actually start? With your credit, like you know if you're a first time credit person that you really really want to seek education, about and learn it, and like where do you hit that start button? Like where do you even begin, Josh?
All right. So, I mean, as a first, as someone who just, getting into, become into like adulthood. So we say like a teenager and stuff like that. So basically, a lot of the information you can Google. You know what I mean? You can Google what's the credit score. You can Google how to fix my credit, and it will give you all the basic knowledge. But with that being said, the first place you want to start is you want to pull your credit report. And you can pull your credit report once a year for free at annualcreditreport.com. Okay. Because of the whole COVID situation right now, they are basically letting you pull your credit report once a week for free until April 2021. So basically, once you pull your credit report, it will show all the stuff that's on your credit from the three major credit bureaus: TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. And from there, you just want
So
to look
I
at.
just want I just want to pause you right there and just comment on that. So for the folks that do not know what Equifax or Equifax is to pull their credit, Josh or myself will provide a link in this video that will actually link you to the free site, correct? Um,
Correct.
so he can go ahead and continue to explain that process.
So yeah, so like I said, you pull the credit report, it's going to show all the credit accounts that you have open with all three of the credit bureaus, all the three major credit bureaus. On there, you just want to go through and see what's on your credit report. If you see anything that's inaccurate, such as a misspelling of your name, or a wrong address, or even an employer that you no longer work for, you want to highlight that stuff. And then you want to go a step further because you want to look at, what lines of credit you have open. Meaning, like, do you have a personal loan open? Do you have a credit card open? Do you have a car loan that's open? What people don't know is that 25% of Americans have some sort of credit error on their credit report. So they could be reporting that you have a balance left on a vehicle that you paid off 10 years ago, and that could be dragging down your credit.
And I
And
just
what
want
you
to say,
want to do at
can
that
I
point is,
add to that? And I believe that it stays on to that information. If that information is inaccurate, it shows in conducting my research. I know that it can stay on your credit report for about 7 to 10 years, basically. So if that information is incorrect, you really, really want to get that incorrect information off there.
right, absolutely. You definitely want to do that because that could be the difference of you getting your dream home or getting your dream car. You know what I mean? Like when you go to apply for these car loans or mortgages, they pull that credit report and they look at that. And like I said, you could be, missing out on 50 points because they're reporting something on your credit report that's inaccurate.
Right.
And like I said, that could be the difference between you driving a bucket or driving something nice.
Correct. I agree. And a bucket, as in, I remember my Pontiac. I would have to tie it up with a hanger every time the muffler. I took for a Pontiac. We're not gonna talk about my old Pontiac. Put it like this: that was my first. That was my first car. And guess what? It wasn't bought on credit. It was bought with cash. That car was $1,200 actually. Paid $1,200 for it. Had buku crazy miles on it. But guess what? My goal was to just ride it till the wheels fall off, literally. So
I'm pretty sure it probably did too.
So I want to thank everybody for tuning in. And I just let's hit a review. We're gonna hit a couple of review options. We did two quick power questions. Me and Josh just did. So we're just gonna give two quick couple pointers to obtain good credit. So one that I want to leave you with is making payments on time is very essential piece to credit freedom. And
Absolutely.
even if you cannot obtain to pay, okay, the full back, but the minimum payment, long as they're seeing that minimum payment in there, that will keep you like a safeguard, basically, and
Yep.
that'll shield you. In doing so, as a reminder for yourself, you just need to automatically go in and just set up automatic payment arrangements to come out
All
on a certain
day.
time of month, so that when your payments come out, that they pull. Okay. Josh.
Absolutely. Can I leave one too?
Yep.
Maybe two of them real quick. So back to knowing when you're basically making a minimum payment is definitely important, and definitely knowing when the due date is. So it's 3 days you want to pay attention to. Okay, you want to know your due date, you want to know the statement date, you want to know the reporting date. Okay, those 3 dates are very important and very important, especially for this quick little hack that I want to give you guys, to help build up your credit and help add points to your credit score each month. It's called the 15-3 hack. Okay, credit hack. What that means is that you want to make a payment to your credit card. Let's say like you owe a balance on your credit card $200. Okay, so you want to make a payment of $100 to that credit card 15 days before the due date. Okay, and then you want to turn around in 3 days before the due date, pay the other $100, which basically gonna give you the total of $200. That is going to basically trick the system into thinking that you made two payments in 1 month, and you're going to get rewarded with points to your credit score from the credit bureaus, because they like to see you make more than what they call the minimum payment. So that's a quick little trick, quick little hack for you guys.
So I see a couple people actually in the chat box raising their hands, and they had a couple questions. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna pick on. I'm gonna answer people questions individually in the chat box. But as you're talking, Josh, I know he can't get to everybody one at a time, but we're just gonna try to answer the powerful question, the strong. Then we're gonna filter through some questions. If you feel like you left out, individually write me an email, or actually write him an email, and we'll get back to you and to your questions and concerns and comments. What else? So we reviewed on good credit. So bad credit was so failure to pay on time. I mean, you going around, you ignoring your bills, you Nicki Minajing it out here with your nails done, hair laid, hard out, got your 12-inch going. You know what? Fuck a 12-inch, 21-inch site. You out here flossing. Meanwhile, you done maxed out 10-7 cars and ignoring the hell out of the creditor. I mean, where all this money gonna come from? I mean, you just blew standard 1,800 in credit, and you don't even see that in cash, regular cash. So backwards. Oh my gosh. So, and then you failure to pay on time or at all.
Oh, man.
You're ignoring the bill completely. Oh man. So you don't just have negative, you got a delinquent payment, you have, interest building. No telling what the interest rate is.
Interest rate be like 27%, and they wonder why they can never pay that car off or that card. That's why.
Because of the interest rate.
It's crazy.
Okay. Somebody said about the interest charges. They asking about interest. Like, okay, we'll get into that. We'll get into that at a different date, right? I think you got something for the next call for interest charges, where they talk, about how they talk about the 25-month term. So trying to figure out how to calculate interest charges, and how does the interest, how does late interest affect, what's the difference between late interest and current interest? because there is a difference between late interest amount and current interest amount, correct?
Yeah, it is, and that, like I said, that right there is definitely a beast of its own. That right there definitely going there, but there is a difference. There is a difference.
Right. So I think that actually sums up our call. And do you have anything for them?
Man, I just really appreciate the opportunity to come on here and do a little bit of teaching and educating about finances. I'm definitely going to continue to do this. Um, so yeah, man, Julius, I really appreciate you having me on here. You know what I'm saying? Genius talk.
Genius talk
Definitely
for
love it.
genius talk for life, baby.
That's right. That's
So
right.
once
That's
again,
right.
we are here again with Josh with, and you do have, what do you call yourself, Josh? Just Josh, you just go by your first and last name for now, or
You can call me. You can call me Josh. You can call me financial strategist, but you can just call me Josh.
yeah, Josh, credit Dr. Josh. So yeah, he's helping. One thing, he's helping people get their credit back in line, back on and track, to reach your goals of financial freedom, as Jay-Z say. Financial freedom is my only hope. Ah, you know the song.
Yes,
Fuck,
yes.
going broke. Ah, no, no, I'm not DJing on this call. Okay, so let me stop. Let me stop. Let me stop. Let me stop. I'm sorry, but we're gonna be back with you. We're gonna be back. We're gonna be back with another one with Genius Talk. So,
Can't
like I
wait.
said, I'm straight from the Q's coming at you from Julius Photography, featuring Josh on the Genius Talk platform, introducing the subject credit and how it can work
Yes,
for
sir.
you, how it can make you, how it can break you, how it can take you. But guess what? You ain't gonna let it make you, break you, take you. You're gonna make it, you're gonna break it, and you're
That's
gonna
right.
utilize it as you're gonna operate it how you want to operate it. You're gonna leverage it how you want to leverage it, and you're gonna take control of your credit. You're gonna own
Absolutely.
it, you're gonna claim it, and you're gonna be comfortable with your purchases. By the end of these calls, you're going to be financially free to the point where you're going to say, "Oh, I need to get back on." You're going to be, if you're not financially free yet, Josh is going to, the stuff that he has to show, as long as, the deep dive that I've been studying as well,
Absolutely.
you're going to be financially free.
We're just scratching the surface right now. All right. Once I help y'all get your credit back on track and learn the basics, then we can go to advanced classes and talk about how we can use that good credit to build wealth.
Correct, correct. Because there's different types of, and I didn't want to get too involved into that segment yet because we're not, this is just an introductory.
Hmm.
Um, but there's so much stuff that you can do with credit once you get your credit right and you build that e I call it a ES MF, saving emergency savings fund. That's how I abbreviate it basically.
Yeah.
So as soon as you get all your ducks in a row, basically, and your finances in order, there's a lot of things that you could do. And as a society, we're conditioned to just only know what is in front of us, and that's it. Sometimes we're just okay. Whatever this remote can turn on, that's where we're. Boom, I'm done. Tyler Perry movie. Boom, I'm done. So let's be financially freedom free. I want to be free. I want to be financially free. Wow.
That's right.
I want to be able to have 1,800 in credit and 1,800 in my pocket at the same time. I want more than I want more than that actually. But you got to claim it.
Absolutely.
But
You
you
gotta
have to
claim it.
claim it.
Hmm.
Any
Starts there.
advice you leave for our callers? Drop some jewels on them real quick.
Listen, one thing that I learned is that in order to take control of your finances, you're going to have to change your mindset. You're going to have to get into a whole different mindset. You're probably going to have to unlearn all the things that you learned about how to manage money. And you're going to have to, just forget all that old stuff and just start building a new foundation. So, in order to have good credit, in order to build wealth, you got to change your mindset about money all the time.
Once again, that was Josh introducing credit, coming straight from you from Q's on the Genius Talk Network, hosted by Julius Photography and more. Check
Yes,
us
sir.
out on the next. Check us out. Just check us out, because the only way is to the top. The bottom is never near. You remember, you're the energy. One day at a time, one step at a time, you can do it.
That's right.